McKim, Mead, and White's apartment house, 998 Fifth Avenue, was the first super luxury building on the East Side.
McKim, Mead, and White were most famous in the city for their grand private houses. 998 Fifth Avenue is a palazzo, but it's very understated. And within, there are these extraordinary spaces that resemble house spaces.
And that, when I believe Elihu Root moved out of his townhouse into that building, it signaled that this was a new and totally acceptable way of living for the wealthy.
The architects have been given carte blanche to create whatever was necessary to woo the upper classes into this building. And it set the tone for the luxury apartment building on the Upper East Side.
But the two masters of apartment house architecture were Roth. Emery Roth did many of the wonderful buildings on Central Park West, but before and parallel to him was Rosario Candela. Now everybody talks about Candela. Candela is the best and most amazing part of Candela's buildings are the plans of the apartments, which are very ingenious. And you mustn't forget that in the Second World War, when he didn't have any work as an architect, he was a cryptographer, the guy who knew how to put things together. And you have to balance that against the complications of the New York City setback laws, which make for very interesting silhouettes, but mean, particularly toward the tops of buildings, things are always changing and structures moving, and chimneys. You could do a PhD on Candela's chimney breast planning and chimney planning. So, to me, the question was how to make a building and climb on what shoulders, architecturally speaking, to go from the 20s and early 30s to the 1990s. And for me, there are a couple of buildings by Candela, like 770 and 778 Park Avenue, where there are two water towers that are really quite wonderful. And though they're not spectacularly tall, they are iconic on the skyline. And then the River House, which has a low building, and then a courtyard, and the wonderful experience of arrival from coming in through the gateways, into the courtyard, being greeted by the door person, going into the lobby, distributing to various places for the four cores of the building. The nice thing about River House, which no longer exists, is that it had a boat landing before the construction of the East River Drive. That would have been really the way to arrive, in my opinion.